Hello, everybody, and welcome to Getting Baked. This is the first ever episode of this podcast, so I'm excited to start this journey with all of you today. Today, we have a very important topic to discuss, and it's one that I'm sure many of you have been anticipating for quite some time. I think everyone knows what the topic is, but just in case there's some doofus out there in the audience that is completely clueless with their thumb up their ass, today we're going to be talking about foreheads, and specifically the foreheads of mellophone players, because everyone knows mellophone players have the best forehead. And today we are going to be ranking all of the mellophone foreheads from first to worst, and I'm very excited. It's a very controversial topic. I'm sure many hearts will be broken, many bets will be lost. I will probably have people calling me saying that they now owe Hunter Stewart a butt ton of money because they thought that Rachel Vincent was going to be the best forehead, but we'll all see in due time. So without further ado, I think we can jump right into the rankings. And by get right into the rankings, of course, I mean not go right into the rankings yet, because we need to build up the suspense, to keep the tension high. So before we explicitly give the ranks, we're going to talk about how the foreheads are ranked. There are 30 foreheads. Rank 1 is the best. Rank 30 is the worst. We are going to start from rank 30 and go up from there because you want to save the best for last, The foreheads are split into a few different tiers, and I will quickly explain what each tier means so that when I reference it later in the podcast, you can understand what I'm talking about, where I'm coming from. So the top tier is S tier. Every single forehead in this tier is godlike, amazing, very close to what Kayla Blackburn's forehead looks like. And these are just the cream of the crop foreheads that every Mello aspires to be like. The next tier is A tier, which is still high tier. They're great foreheads, don't get me wrong, but they just don't have the cutting edge that the S tier foreheads have. Going further down, we have B tier, which are mainly just A tier wannabes. Like these are pretty good foreheads still, but like they're not anything special. They're good, and that's about it. We have C tier, which is middle of the pack, average, nothing special at all, nothing remarkable. Kind of boring, if you ask me. D tier, which is very low, definitely below average, and kind of cringeworthy. Like you look at these foreheads and you just think, wow, that is a person. They have to deal with that every day. Oh, and you just shudder a bit because you can't imagine actually having a forehead like that. And then we have F tier. This is the bottom of the barrel. These foreheads suck. Like, I mean, they're still better than most trumpets, but like they're that bad that you can compare them to trumpets. And that really says all you need to know about them. If they're trumpet level foreheads, that means they absolutely blow chunks. And with that out of the way, you understand how I'm going to be ranking the foreheads, and we can jump right into actually ranking them. So here we go, starting with number 30, which surprisingly is Kat. I know this may come as a shock to some of you, but Kat's forehead really isn't all it's cracked up to be. It looks really good on paper, I'll give it that, but once you start actually diving into the science of foreheads, you realize that it's really not all it's cracked up to be. Last year she was ranked 2, and she's really fallen from grace since then upon a few discoveries of mine. So first of all, her forehead smells faintly of urine. I'm not exactly sure why this is the case or how long it's been like this. I just know that it's kind of disgusting when you get up and close. And secondly, this forehead cannot march backwards at all. There has been at least one time, like it's been at least once, definitely at least one time where I saw this forehead just completely wipe out on the field. No marching technique, terrible form, cannot march backwards for their life. And for that reason, that forehead is ranked number 30. Coming in at forehead 29, we have Sean. And this is also one of those shocker foreheads. Like, why is it ranked so low? Well, he has the nickname Crazy Legs for a reason, and that's because his legs are crazy good. And when I first noticed this, I realized that his legs were just so good. His forehead looked proportionally terrible compared to them. And so for that reason, he is ranked 29. There's really nothing else to say. His legs are too good. At 28, we have Mason. Now, this is a Mellophone Forehead ranking, and for some reason, I just get these crazy amount of like woodwind vibes from Mason. I don't know. There's a pinch of saxophone in there, and I'm just very confused at what I'm looking at when I'm examining his forehead. And because of all the confusion and the uncertainty, he's 28, definitely F tier Mellophone Forehead. At 27, we have Ashlan, and I told her this last year. You can't have a good forehead if you just hide it with bangs the whole time, and she has not gotten rid of her bangs. They still cover up her forehead. You can't see anything. Garbage, F tier. And rounding out the F tier, we have Chris. His forehead was actually in the A tier at one point, and then we had an investigation because it looked just a little too shiny, and we discovered that he was using an illegal amount of forehead polish, which, as you all know, according to the International Forehead Ranking Society, is illegal. And because of this, he is in the F tier and will most likely be disqualified from next year's ranking if he doesn't change his ways. So we are now out of the F tier, and we are talking about D tier foreheads, which are still very much below average, but the quality should be increased slightly compared to the trash-ass foreheads we were just looking at. So the first forehead in D tier, number 25, is Mary, who I'm not sure if she actually exists. I couldn't find any pictures of her. I have never, ever seen this person in real life. She could be a ghost for all I know. So I don't actually know what her forehead looks like, but I'm just assuming it's better than F tier foreheads. So yeah, she's number 25. All right, number 24 is Katherine. Like Mary, I had to spend a lot of time looking for photographic evidence of this forehead. And because of all the effort, I was so tired that I didn't actually look and see how good the forehead was. So I just threw her in number 24. So yeah, that's where she's going to sit for now. Number 23, Joe. Now, Joe is a very good marcher, I've heard. But the problem is, when you're really good at marching, all of your forehead juice gets sucked into your calves. And that is the case with Joe. He has a very bad case of marcher's forehead. So because of that, he's not very high on this tier list. Yeah. On top of Joe, we have Carly. Now Carly is in D tier because she just like the ratio of the width, the height, her eyebrows, everything about her forehead, literally everything, is not at the right ratio. And because of that, it's very unpleasant to look at for the eyes. And suchly, she is number 22. Number 21 is Cassie, who sung Donkey Pot Pie at UCMB's Got Talent 2 years ago. And now every time I look at her forehead, I want pot pie. Number 20 is Kristen, and whenever I look at her forehead, I get serious Gone Girl eyes, and I think, wow, if I get any closer to this forehead, it's gonna fucking murder me. So I, out of sheer panic, put it at the top of D tier and hope that it stays far, far away from me. At number 19, we have Katie, through no fault of her own, has fallen a little bit in this year's rankings, simply because the competition above her is just too strong. I mean, you got absolute powerhouses in this section this year. It's probably the most competitive it's been in at least 10 years. So she's definitely a solid sleeper pick for next year, and definitely a forehead to keep an eye out. At number 18, we have Julia, who should have been like a mid to high B tier candidate, but this year she has fallen into the low C tier simply because when looking for good forehead pictures, I noticed she was standing next to her brother Jack, and Jack has a fucking whomper of a forehead, and so just by comparison, her forehead didn't seem as good, so it really fell. Number 17, we have Vilmette. Solid forehead, right proportions. It sounds like Wilmette, which is home to the Walker Brothers Pancake House, which has absolutely amazing blueberry pancakes. So yeah, I just think Wilmette's forehead, solid at 17. 16, we have TJ, and I went to measure his forehead, and he started showing me drum corps videos, and I got so engrossed in the Blue Coats 2016 show that I just forgot everything and anything about his forehead. So I was like, fuck it, we'll just stick him in the middle of C tier and call it a day. At number 15, we have Matt. Wait, I'm checking my notes here. I'm not sure which Matt is. Wait, go to the next. Number 14, we also Matt. We're gonna have to edit this section out because I'm not sure which Matt is supposed to be where. If you guys will just bear. Oh, well, this is live. Oh fuck. Okay. Yeah, Matt is 15 and Matt is 14. Yeah, just call it a day. Number 13, top of C tier, the best of the average. We have Kelley, no, Killian, Carly. It's one of those three. Solid overall forehead. Could be better. A lot of work needs to happen for her to rise any higher than where she is right now. At number 12, we have Alisa, Alice, Alisa, fuck it, next forehead. Number 11, we have Benny. This forehead is one of the widest fucking wankers I've ever seen. And for that, it's a solid B tier candidate. At number 10, we have Mike, and he probably has one of the most colorful foreheads ever. The tattoos definitely help. I think if he just gets a little bit more, he'll definitely be a high A tier candidate for next year. At number 9, we have Abigail, and this is one of the definitions of seen but not heard. This is a solid forehead that definitely doesn't go around showing itself off. No bragging, no boasting. This is what most foreheads should aspire to be. At number 8, we have Hunter at the top of the B tier. He was very close to making A this year, but just the competition was so tight that he just got squeezed out. He did raise his rank just ever so slightly from last year, going from 9th last year to 8th this year, and I really commend him for all the work he's put in over the offseason to be able to come out here and show that level of dedication to the game. So good for him. We've sifted through all the crap foreheads now, and we are finally in the A tier. This is what you all came to see. We're going to see some high tier great foreheads, executing a shit ton of skill and craft for their game. So let's get started with number 7, Meg. Solid forehead. Was 7th last year, is 7th this year. I really don't know what else to say. Just look at that thing. I think it explains everything for itself. Number 6, we have Sebastian, and this forehead really follows Azarov's law of forehead proportions. 3 times the width divided by 4/3 times the height cubed, all over the amount of pores to the 5th power. If you do the math, which I'm a stats major, so you can believe I did the math, that his forehead is just so proportional, it's almost perfect. However, there are some flaws. He's named after a crab, so he couldn't possibly make the top 5. At number 5, we have Javier. Now, this forehead is amazing. If you look at it, just the reflection of the light hitting your eyes from the sun at exactly 1:07 p.m. on a Wednesday afternoon, you will not ever get a better forehead glimmer than that. Move right along to number 4, Ryan. Now, he was number 25 last year, but he put in work this offseason. If you notice, there's so much muscle mass on that forehead. He's really been lifting the weights, getting in the gym, hitting it hard, and boy, did it hit his forehead hard. I am so proud of him. He is the 4th best forehead in this section this year. If there's anyone out here that deserves an award for hard work, it's this man, Ryan. Clap it up. Let's go. And finally, we are in the top 3 foreheads. This is what it all comes down to. This is the S tier, the God tier foreheads. This is what every single forehead in the Mellophone section desires to be. Let's get right into it. Number 3, we have Nathan. And I noticed this forehead when he swiped me into Northwest that one time. And when he swiped me in, we had a nice dinner because he swiped me in. And I really noticed that because he swiped me in, he has a really good forehead. And it took swiping me in to realize that this forehead is fucking exquisite. All right. I've almost never seen a better forehead. Dare I say Caleb Blackburn 2.0, but we'll have to wait till next year to see if the swipes keep flowing, you know. At number 2, we have Rachel, who unfortunately did not make the top spot. She really has one amazing forehead. I'll just say that. But if you try to cheat your way to the top, you will never make it there. I'll just leave it at that. Good luck next year, bitch. All right, and the moment we've all been waiting for. The best forehead in the Mellophone section, Elizabeth. Now, I'm not exactly sure what it is about this forehead. I just know that it's definitely better than every single other forehead. Probably because it never talks in set. And it's got a really fucking good taste in cereal. All right, there, I said it. So that wraps up our 2019 Mellophone Forehead ranking. Thank you for listening, if you even listened to the whole video. I'm sure half of you just skipped to the end to see who was the best, and you all suck. So if you disagree with anything I said, make sure to leave a nasty comment because that will just encourage me. This is Getting Baked. I'm Baked Goods. Thank you for listening. I hope to see you again on future podcasts, and if you're a Mellophone, I'll see your forehead next year. Peace, and don't talk in set.